They called me a thief for drinking from my own well. 3 trucks from the HOA rolled up to my driveway like I was some cartel bossman with shovels and metal detectors swearing they'd dig up stolen pipes. And just like that, neighbors I'd waved to for years were staring at me like I'd been sneaking into their kitchens at night to siphon their faucets dry. My name's Adam Wright. I'm 36, a financial advisor, and I bought this place 4 years ago for one reason: freedom. No HOA rules, no paint color approvals, no neighbors deciding if my mailbox passed inspection. The property came with its own well and septic system, completely independent. I thought I'd done everything right. Then, one Tuesday morning, a process server walked up my gravel driveway, handed me papers, and mumbled an apology like even he knew it was ridiculous. $18,000 in damages courtesy of Paige Whitman, president of the Meadowbrook HOA. Their claim that I'd been secretly tapping into their water system for 5 years. I actually laughed at first. Pipes through bedrock. What did they think I had Tony Stark's workshop under my garden shed? But my laugh died when I saw the diagrams. Professional-looking schematics, consumption reports, signatures. It looked official enough to fool anyone glancing at it. And buried in the fine print was the part that made my stomach turn. They demanded access to my property to dig up evidence. My fruit trees, my raised garden beds, 3 years of work, all at the mercy of a witch hunt. That evening, I walked it into the Meadowbrook clubhouse. 50 people crammed into a room built for 30 eyes burning into me the second I stepped in. Paige stood at the front like a queen in a courtroom. Blonde hair, perfect navy business suit, sharp enough to cut glass, a laser pointer flicking across slides. She spun a story of me as a sophisticated thief stealing water while pretending to be independent. Every time I opened my mouth to defend myself, she had another counter-decoy. Wells disguised pipes, underground engineering. Neighbors nodded some whispering about missing packages, one woman asking if my theft explained her low water pressure. By the end of the meeting, I wasn't Adam the neighbor, I was Adam the criminal. Afterward, Lucas Green, the HOA manager, sidled up to me in the parking lot. He suggested we work something out $2,000 now, the rest on a payment plan. His smile was fake sympathetic, but his eyes said shakedown. I walked away furious, but also rattled. Because what if this spiraled? What if they convinced a judge? That night I lay awake replaying everything. Was I missing something obvious? Was there any chance they were right? Doubt crawled in like mold. I thought about just paying to make it go away. But something about Lucas's eagerness to settle gnawed at me. If they really had evidence, why would they bargain? The next morning, I marched into the county utilities office. The clerk, Sarah Mitchell, flipped through files muttering about regulations. When I slid her the lawsuit, she stopped cold. The original maps were crystal clear. My property had never been connected to Meadowbrook's system. But 3 weeks ago, a new map was uploaded showing a connection straight into my yard, signed off by none other than Lucas Green. Problem was, those revisions required in-person verification with multiple IDs. Someone had forged government records. That wasn't just HOA bullying. That was a federal crime. I walked out with copies of both maps, one real, one fake, feeling like I finally had leverage. Then I found the envelope. No return address. Inside were photos of Lucas and 2 men in utility coveralls burying PVC pipes in the woods at night. Clear license plates, clear faces. They were planting evidence. I grabbed a shovel, went to the site myself, and sure enough the pipes ended in dirt. Useless props. While I was documenting everything, my phone rang. Paige's voice icy and commanding. "You're trespassing on utility infrastructure. Stop digging or face criminal charges." I could hear Lucas whispering in the background. My blood boiled. Minutes later, a truck pulled up 3 men in fake Meadowbrook Utility Services uniforms. Their badges looked real until you asked too many questions. They puffed up, one stepping toward me like he was ready to fight. I dialed the county office on speaker. Sarah confirmed no such company existed. The men froze, then scrambled back into their truck and peeled off. I snapped their plates as they fled. That evening, a text buzzed my phone. A photo of my backyard. My well pump taken from inside my fence. The message, "Stop digging or face the consequences." That was the moment I realized I wasn't just in a legal battle. I was being hunted. For a day, I thought about folding, about letting them win because fighting felt insane. I pictured FBI agents raiding me by mistake, neighbors spitting on the sidewalk when I walked by. But then, another man stepped forward. Mark Thompson, a 15-year county utilities officer. He confessed Lucas had approached him months ago asking about database access, offering consulting fees to sign off fake revisions. When Mark refused, his car got keyed outside his daughter's school. He found notes under his wipers telling him to shut up. They'd threatened his family and he'd almost caved. But seeing me fight gave him the push to testify. 3 days later, we were in federal court. I sat alone with a manila folder while Paige swept in, flanked by 3 high-priced lawyers and Lucas pushing a cart of binders. Their opening statement painted me as some mastermind criminal scheming to avoid paying $12 a month. My turn felt pathetic, just me sweating through my shirt holding up papers and photos. But as I laid out the forged maps, the fake utility crew, Paige's threatening phone call, something shifted. Judge Mason's questions cut deep. "Mr. Green, how exactly did Mr. Wright bore through solid bedrock without permits or machinery?" Lucas stammered, sweat shining on his forehead. He contradicted himself, once claiming I'd tunneled under a creek, then admitting no evidence of excavation existed. The gallery snickered. Paige's lawyers fumbled, objected, but every time they tried, the judge overruled them. Then Mark took the stand. His voice trembled at first, but his testimony was a hammer blow. He detailed the bribes, the threats, the systematic targeting of vulnerable homeowners. He showed emails from Lucas outlining settlement amounts, choosing elderly and immigrant families who'd be least likely to fight. The courtroom went dead silent. And then came the nail in the coffin, my recording of Paige's phone call. Her voice filled the room. "If you keep digging, you'll regret it. Federal charges are no joke." Gasps echoed. Paige's face went white. When the slideshow of photos played Lucas and his crew burying fake pipes, the last threads of their case unraveled. Paige snapped. She stood shouting across the courtroom, "People like him drag our neighborhood down. We have to protect ourselves from freeloaders." Her own lawyers tried to pull her down, but it was too late. She'd confessed her motive out loud. Discrimination control, pure HOA arrogance. The gavel slammed. Judge Mason dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice and referred the case to federal prosecutors for fraud, conspiracy, and falsifying government records. FBI agents stepped forward, cuffing Paige and Lucas right there. The room erupted, neighbors gasping, reporters scribbling, cameras flashing. I walked out of that courthouse not as a defendant, but as the guy who'd just watched the HOA queen and her lapdog marched off to face decades in prison. And I realized this was never about stolen water. It was about dignity. The truth doesn't defend itself, you have to stand up and fight for it.